Who is Nancy Randolph Davis? Resilience, endurance, audacity, and determination. These are some of the values that best embody who Nancy Randolph Davis is. She means so many things to so many different people, depending on who you might talk to. Some would say that she was a home economics teacher, preparing students to develop the skills for home improvement. Others would say that she taught childcare classes, preparing juniors and seniors for internships to work with preschoolers. Some would eventually go on to own their own childcare institutions. And yet others would say that she was a civil rights activist or an advocate, particularly for young people, with the Oklahoma City NAACP Youth Council, leading and training them for sit-ins in downtown Oklahoma City. And then yet others would say that she was a mediator. Here at Star Spencer High School, at the height of desegregation efforts, she worked with white teachers to quell racial tensions. And many of us know her as a trailblazer, becoming the first African American to enroll at Oklahoma State University in 1949. There are some major questions that she has inspired for the work of equity and inclusion in this office. How do we think about equity and inclusion as we begin to build and develop programs, practices, and policies that will shape the development of this particular organization? How do we think about equity and inclusion for the resources that will be needed to support such programs and initiatives? How do we think about equity and inclusion in terms of the kinds of questions that we need to ask in the area of scholarship and research as we think about real-world problems and addressing underserved, under-resourced, and underrepresented communities? How do we think about equity and inclusion in the area of teaching and learning when we know that our student populations nationally are increasingly diverse, demanding that we continue to understand their identities, their languages, their socio-cultural context, and their particular reality? How do we think about equity and inclusion as we think about recruitment of underserved populations? And then finally, as a land-grant institution, how do we think about equity and inclusion as it relates to partnerships, public impact, and community innovation? What are the kinds of communities that we are going to need to build authentic relationships in ways that will celebrate people, passion, and purpose? Thank you, and we invite you to join on this journey as we continue the legacy of Nancy Randolph Davis.